Welcome to practice. I'm Donna Cavanough. We're going to begin laying down in Supta Baddha Konasana. And if you take a long, longly folded blanket, we're going to put that across the mat under your tailbone. So laying down, blanket under the tailbone, and soles of the feet together, knees out wide. I really like the feeling, especially if you get into this posture and you think, oh, my hips are a bit tight, to tuck the end of the blanket a little higher, like a little nest, underneath your thigh bones. So it captures the weight of your leg at the top of the bone, top of the thigh bone. And then just finding the floor under your back and the shape that the floor, the flat floor, gives your spine. The alignment between your sacrum, back of the pelvis, your shoulder blades, and the back of your head, and how that feels. And then finding your breath. Going to be a very hot day where I am. And I like to tune into what's going on with the immediate environment by tuning into the temperature and humidity of the air, breathing in. So you can do that too, just noticing temperature and the reception of the breath, the nostrils. The humidity. And when you breathe out, notice if the air is warmer and more humid. It can give us an inkling of the kind of practice that would be nourishing for today, for this moment. And this posture of the Baddha Konasana, laying back, bound angle pose, regulating for the balance of the body, chemical balance, calming for the mind. So we get to practice the very here and now of the body and the mind and the breath. Feeling that you are supported by the floor of your building, the foundations of the building, and the earth. Feeling the quality of the air that you're breathing. and the flow of breath. And then we're going to bring the feet hip width and parallel and take the blanket out. With the breath now, have the arms beside you and inhale, and we're going to softly take the arms overhead. Not all the way to the floor, but feel your shoulders and stop your arms where it starts to compress in the shoulder joint because your shoulder blades are held by the floor. So when you get to that point where you need to stop, because we're going to be practicing real awareness in the shoulders and self-compassion, take the arms back to the floor. So it depends on the anatomy of your shoulders as to how far they go back. And it might even be that they just go to the vertical. Good, but we're going to move the arms with the breath without putting any discomfort into the shoulders. So arms up with the in breath and arms down with the exhalation. And when you really pay attention to what's happening in there, noticing the shoulder blades are held still, which means the roof of the shoulder can't move. We don't want to compress any of the structures of the shoulder. But letting the armpits feel like they're lengthening and opening. Beautiful. All right, we're going to take the arms overhead now, but you're going to roll a little bit to your left, lay your right arm overhead, and then roll a little bit to your right and lay your left arm overhead. So now the shoulder blades have moved, and hopefully we've made some room for those shoulder joints. Your arms are laying back onto the floor. We're just taking notice of that in the chest and the armpits and relaxing your neck. You can rock your head a little from side to side. Lovely. All right, we're going to take the arms, sorry, not the arms, put them back. The legs up from your hips. And drop your feet a little towards the floor, not too much, and press your lower back. Okay, now as you pressed your lower back, did it tense your shoulders and neck? So relax again there. Good, and really holding the belly, the pelvic floor. Lovely. Drop the legs a little bit more. Keep the shoulders and neck really relaxed. Good, belly and lower abdomen. Nice deep breath. Legs drop a little bit more. Pressing your back. Try to make it the belly. A little bit more. One more. And all the way down to the floor. And then give yourself a big stretch. Great. And then we're going to release. We're going to bring the arms in, legs in. Good. And take happy baby pose. So holding your feet if you can, or holding your legs or your leggings. And we're going to take the knees and the feet out wide. It's finding your stretch and your breath. Really noticing how this feels. Shoulders relaxed, neck relaxed. Try stretching one leg, just observing where that resistance is. And follow the flow of your breath into that stretch rather than trying to force anything. Good, and then bending that one and starting to straighten the other. And again, find your resistance. And follow the flow of breath into that resistance, into the possibility of stretching further. Good, and we're going to repeat on both sides. Just checking in, neck and shoulders relaxed. Lovely. And then releasing. We're going to keep the legs out straight again and roll a little bit to your left. Take your right arm overhead. So that means your shoulder blade can move and you keep the space in your shoulder joint. Good. Roll a little bit to the right and left arm overhead so you're comfortable in your shoulder joints. Good. Stretch your legs out to straight. Stretch your arms out to straight. We're going to walk the feet over to the left. Walk them as far as you can. So you start to feel the stretch in your right waist, maybe even the right belly or back. Good. And then we'll just wiggle your upper back a little bit over to the left as well. So we're making a banana, maybe a crescent moon. I can't bend that far. Relax your neck, finding your stretch. Hopefully it's right down near the right hip bone. I'm feeling the breath. Beautiful. Let's take the feet across to the right side now and go as far as you can. Try to start to feel that stretch in your left lower back and then help yourself wiggle your upper body across to the right side as well. I've got my toes pointing up and pressing out through the soles of the feet. Ooh, finding your stretch. Relax your neck. Delightful. Enjoying your deep breath. Beautiful. And then back to center. Lovely. Arms and legs in and roll over to your right side. Something so nice about side of the body stretch. Okay, forward virasana. So hips towards your heels, stretching your arms forward. And we're going to walk the arms over to the left side and really reach with your right hand in particular. So we start to find that big stretch for the right lower back, the right waist, making a little more space between the right ribs. And enjoying the flow of each breath. Nice work. And walking the hands over to the right side, and it'll be particularly your left arm that you're reaching so that you can find your stretch on the left waist, left lower back, neck nice and relaxed. And back to center. Lovely. We're going to either kneel or sit with your legs out in front now. And if you take your support and make it high enough. So I'm even going to just make a little hard pillow there for under the sit bones. If you have a yoga block or two, they can be really good, or the end of a bolster is good. It needs to be quite firm. If your lounge cushions are soft, you can sometimes double them over or fold them twice. All right, we're sitting in Virasana or hero pose, or sitting with your legs out in front if that's what you need. And spine is long. Find again that flow of breath, even taking notice just at the nostrils for a moment. Good, and then we'll take the arms back behind the line of the hips, and you can put your hands onto the floor, or if you're kneeling, you can even put them onto your heels and press the palms down. I'm going to press down through the heels of the hands and lift through the spine, Virasana. Great. Take or keep the shape of your spine and release your arms now. And we're going to draw a big circle with the whole spine and neck and top of the head. So you're not bending anywhere along the spine, but rather you're moving the torso around the hips. And that's a big circle drawn in the air above your head. And as you make those circles, and they can even start to get bigger, you might find that you can lean back. But we're using the core, and because we're moving, everything is shifting. So we're stabilizing in movement, albeit nice and slow. And then the other direction. So we're not moving the joints of the spine or the neck. We're using the whole torso here. Okay, and then we're going to sit back up tall, and a different way of moving now. We are going to move the joints of the spine. We're going to focus on the ribs, and we're going to take the ribs or the diaphragm, so the lower cross-section, the cross-section of the lower ribs, the diaphragm around in the circle. And now the whole spine moves. And you make these movements as small or as exaggerated as feels nourishing for your body. Maybe you start off small and then they get a little bit bigger. Good, and then back to center, and then the other direction. Definitely one where you wouldn't want to do your practice soon after eating. You need some room in your tummy. Nice massage of the organ. Beautiful. And let's bring the hands back either onto the heels or behind your hips and sitting up tall. So kneeling is so important for good digestion. It keeps that flow of energy through the body. We need that constant flow for easeful digestion in the body. And it stretches down through the thighs. Now, if you're unable to kneel, then we're going to stand up and do a little bit of stretching of the front of the leg. So come up to standing now, and we can practice our balance, but also keeping the front of the legs nice and long. First one, let's just use, and you can always use your blanket under your toes if you find your floor is too hard. We've got sensitive bones in our feet. We're going to stand on your left leg, put your right toes, the front of your right toes or the top of them on the floor. Good. And then you're able to change how much pressure there is, how big the stretch is. So by leaning back a little, increases the stretch. Taking the hip forward, it's a little bit less stretch. So find what you need. And then if you roll across the front of your foot to the little toe side of the foot, and then the big toe side of the foot, you'll find that you can stretch every single joint at the base of the toes. So rolling and just stretching the front of your feet and your ankles as you need. Lovely. And then we'll release that side and do the left foot. Okay, so find your stretch, just straighten your leg where it feels good, lean a bit forward, lean a bit back. So be playful, find what is working. All right, and then we're going to roll across to the outside, to the little toe side of the foot. Oh, and to the big toe. And don't be surprised if it can feel pretty strong. Okay, that is very nice. Do that whenever you are standing around in bare feet. Okay, a little bit further now up the leg. We're going to stand onto the right leg and we're going to be picking up the right foot and taking it behind and taking hold. Now, if you're having trouble with balance, just hang on to a wall. So take hold of the front of the toes, and we've got that stretch that we just did on the floor. Same thing. Okay, and we'll take the foot out behind you. So we're taking the right leg out behind. And you'll start to tip your torso forward. If you reach your left arm out from your shoulder, good. We're reaching the torso forward, but the right foot back until you feel the stretch in the front of your right leg. Navrajasana, the dancer. Ooh, okay, releasing that side. And we'll do the second side. So we're going to pick up your left leg, taking hold of the toes. So we've got that same stretch we just practiced on the floor. Good. And reach your right arm out in front. And we're going to start to take the left knee back, the left foot back, and reaching the right arm forward, torso forward. We keep the hips level to the floor, feeling the core of the body, containing, finding your balance. Good, and then releasing that side. Lovely. We're going to do something similar, but in movement. And again, you could hold onto a wall next to you if you needed to, or the back of a chair. Let's take the right knee up in front. And the other thing you can do to help with balance if you're very wobbly is tiptoes can stay on the floor. Otherwise, lift the knee nice and high. And then we're going to take the right knee out to the side. And then we're going to take the right knee back behind and we're going to lift the foot up. And the torso is tipping forward and we're tipping at the hip crease, but we're not bending the spine. So we're keeping the alignment of the sacrum, the shoulder blades, and the back of the head. Good, and we're lifting the foot up nice and high. Lovely. All right, keep the knee bent and bring your torso back to balance over your left leg. And now what we're going to do with the right leg is a circle, as though you were drawing a circle with the right knee. And we're feeling the work of the core. But when you take your leg behind you, the right gluteus muscle. So really using that gluteus muscle to lift the leg in the back part of that movement. And now the other direction. Who's the gluteus? Lovely. Standing with the feet under the hips. Tune in a moment again to your breath, to your mountain pose. Feel the lift in the front of your leg, belly, breastbone. The flow of your breath. Let's bring the left knee in front, lift it up. You can keep your tiptoes near the floor. You can be holding on to the port. Good. We're going to take the left knee out to the left side and then out behind you as you tip the whole torso forward from the hip crease. Keep the left leg bent, lift the left foot, the left knee. And then bring the leg back in front. Nice work. And then we're going to make those circles with the left knee. So it's a similar tracking of movement. Okay, now your circles, be really good if you could use your left buttock muscles. Really try to engage. It's particularly that part of the movement where you're lifting the leg behind, taking it across the body. Good. And then the other direction. So when you're lifting the leg behind you, you can really feel the buttock muscles engaging. Good. And we're finding the core of the body stabilizing. Ooh. Nice and awkward. Nice and challenging. Lovely. And then finding your Tadasana. Always here. Lifting the front of the thighs, lifting the front of the hip, and sending the tailbone down. Feeling your feet. Great. And we're going to stretch out that part of the body we've just been working, the gluteus, the lower back, with a forward bend. Face the front, the long front edge of your mat. Take your arms up, let the shoulder blades move. And then reaching your torso forward. And we're going to find where the back of the legs start to stretch. Keep your back relaxed. So find the work of gravity, pressing the bones of the spine towards the front torso. Feeling the volume in the abdomen and around the heart. Feeling the breath. And we're going to start to straighten one leg and then the other, so alternating the stretch. Take as long as it feels good to make that stretch. And rather than trying to follow the instruction of the mind, let's just let the breath flow here through that movement. Follow the breath.
You might find that your torso starts to hang a little further down or be able to reach a little longer, or the bones of the spine press more towards the front torso as you follow your breath. Great. We're going to hold the stretch now in both legs, and you want the back of your neck really long and relaxed. And if your hands are still up on your legs, you can still do this, or your hands can be on the floor, but walk your hands to the left. If you really reach with the right hand, then we influence more the stretch of the right buttock, the right hip, right waist. So reach where it feels good. Try not to tip the right hip forward. You'll get more stretch if you keep taking the right hip back. Neck is relaxed. Follow your breath into the movement, into what feels resistant. Ah, good. And then walk your hands over to your right, either your leg or the floor. Try to keep the left hip reaching back. Try to keep the stretch in both legs. But do that by following the flow of the breath. Mm. Mm. And then back to the center. And rolling up. We're going to breathe. You're going to take your arms up, but in front of you, and just let the shoulder blades move. Notice the difference when we really let the roof of the shoulders move with the shoulder capsule. Beautiful. And then we'll release the arms by the side. Tadasana. Bring your hands to the belly, and we're going to step the left foot back and find your balance. And we've got the left heel on the floor and the legs are straight. We're going to have one hand on the belly and the back of your other hand on your sacrum. We're going to try and keep the sacrum pressing forward, the bones of the spine pressing forward. And the movement is going to be taking the torso forward over the straight legs. So really lift your kneecaps. But we're going to follow the breath into that movement. We're going to follow the flow. So reaching the torso forward by following the flow of your support, even with the awareness of the hands, the lengthening of the belly. The lengthening of the lower back. If you run out of room, you can put your hands on the floor. Follow the breath. And then inhale. And come up and step forward and be balanced on your right foot. Bring the left foot in front. Hug your left knee into your chest and find your Tadasana. And from that strong core body, your good balance, let's place the left foot back down. Mountain pose. Steadfastness. Bring your hands to your belly. Feel the breath there. Step back with your right foot. And we're looking for good balance. So feet about hip width distance from side to side, or a little bit wider if that helps you. Lifting your kneecaps, quadriceps. Feeling the flow of breath.
All right, so we're going to have one hand on the belly and one hand on the sacrum. And the movement is to hinge at the front hip joint and to reach the torso out in front, but we're going to follow the breath to do that. Strong legs, follow the breath. Parsvottanasana. Curious about where your body resists. Take the breath to that resistance. Appreciating, focusing, getting up close to your resistance. Good. If your hands need releasing, do so. Mm. Follow the flow of breath as you lift up now. Step forward and be balanced on your left foot. Bring your right knee in front and hug the knee into your chest. Finding your Tadasana. Your steadfastness. And then placing that right foot back down. Tadasana. Samastiti. We're going to sit down now. So think about how you're going to move onto the floor. Explore sitting without using my hand. Oh. We're going to sit in a comfortable leg position, cross-legged if you can, and we're going to reach out to the right side and reach as far as you can. Maybe your right elbow can support you or your arm out straight. And we're going to add to the stretch by taking the left arm by the left ear and then shining your heart upward and outward. Feeling loving kindness for yourself. And maybe you can feel enough that it starts to overflow. Loving yourself. Lovely. And then we're going to come up and change the cross of the legs. And let's go to the second side. Reaching out to the left now. And you might be on your straight arm on your hand or maybe your elbow. We'll take the right arm by the right ear. Ooh. Feeling loving kindness for yourself. As you shine your heart upwards, out. Beautiful. Coming back up to sitting. Whoa, we've got time for a quick little lie down. We're going to lay down and do bamboo pose. And the blanket you had earlier will be useful. Just put that in underneath your hip. And the blanket is to bring the pelvis to an angle where the legs will just balance over your chest. And if they don't feel like they're balancing and you feel like you're having to work hard, to hold them. Don't do the feet up. Just put your feet on the floor and relax your core and your back. But if your feet balance happily in the air, relax your belly and your back. You might like another arm position. Take what feels good just now. And finding your flow of breath. Even paying attention to the breath right at the reception, at the nostrils. Feeling here your body's adaptability, resilience, flexibility, and strength. And then bringing in your leg and your arm and taking your blanket out. We're going to roll gently to the right side. Lay for a moment. When you're ready, come up and have a seat. Hands together in Namaste. And take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.